For those watching on YouTube, welcome. We're going to start in 2 minutes. Feel free to post anything in the comments section. If you're here watching, hanging out, excited to trade and to get some amazing analysis of everyone who's here. Okay. Go live in about 90 seconds. We're going to let some people start coming in. Great morning, everyone. Welcome. We'll get officially all kicked off and started in about 60 seconds. Let's see who's the first to join. What's up, Eric? We got Jose. There's my boy Sam, Tim, Tony, Win. What's up, champion? Ron, how are you? Marissa, Jason King. Hey, Rockstar. Jay says, good morning. GW, welcome to the party. Thanks for being here. There's my boy Blake. Dan is here. Glad to see you, my friend. Al Johnson is here. Thanks, Al. Love it. Glad the whole crew is in the building. Great morning, everyone. See some of you in Vegas in 1 week from today. Hope to see a lot of you in Vegas so we can all kind of hang out. Type in a 2 if you can hear me and see me okay, just to make sure. And then I will get my screen share turned on and we'll kind of talk a little bit about what's going on. All right, getting a lot of 2s. Beautiful. Here's the screen share. A decent amount to cover today. And I'm really excited to see what opportunities are out there for us. As always, I'm happy to review and chat about anything that you would love me to review and chat about. You just throw it in the chat pane. Let me know how I can best serve you and pour into you, and I will do just that. My mission, as always, is to enrich lives, and I want to make sure that I help you as much as humanly possible in both your analysis, your plan, your preparation, your trade setups, your money, your motivation, all the things. So let's go start with the broader market. So SPY. So this is the analysis that we created together on Friday, February the 10th, which was essentially let's retest and then roll over some. And that was really based on the fact that we closed, if I kind of go back to how I analyzed it, if we closed below this really, really strong bull candle, this blue rectangle looking thing is the unfilled gap back over here on the SPY that is still unfilled, and also represented the 100 simple on the weekly. So you had a pretty good resistance up there, have/has. So it's heavy. And one of my mentors and trading friends and all the things, Joel Elconin, came out with a really profound, the high is in for the year on this day, the 9th of February. So that's kind of where I came up with this analysis, because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just going to totally disagree with Joel. Only been trading for 37 years. No big deal. Him and Dennis, both. So come up with this plan of, all right, let's play this little retest. And so if you're playing something bearish up here, you have pretty decent risk reward. And we did get triggered into some bearish trades, and we're going to talk about those in a moment. But this looks a little double topish. And we do have in fact, we have 2 bull candles that close below the 10, and we're going to trigger both of those at open this morning. So I'm certainly not saying we're going to free fall by any stretch of the imagination, but I do, and I could see that it would have a little bit more bearishness down into 393 for the next couple of days, couple of weeks. And we shall see. Today is a gap on a new week as well. So if we go to a weekly chart, you'll notice the last 2 weeks were inside high wave indecision weeks on the SPY. So opening below the low of both of those, again, does have a little pinch of bearishness. Now, with all that being said, Thursday of last week, we did get into a bear trade on American Airlines, 1685 by 1785, which filled on the 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day. And I'm trying to remember the exact day that we set that trade up. It was the Thursday. And so here's what that looks like. So really just trying to, it was one more day. There we go. So it looked like that. And we're just trying to short on a retest with a stop above prior highs. Now, what's interesting is the stop loss is also above the 100 simple on the weekly. So that was the reasoning and the rationale for that. And again, hopefully and most likely sometime this week, I'll be able to lower the stop to here so that we can lose 0.7 Rs or less. And on the monthly chart for American Airlines, right, you had just some moving averages there, but nothing special. But the weekly, again, really, really nice double bottom, type of 5, if you can see that. Pretty clean double bottom here. So my thought is essentially not perma bear on American Airlines. I just think that it could pull back just to that neckline. And the goal, of course, is to sell as high as possible on everything, always. So that's American Airlines. And that's kind of where we're at presently. All right. And then Boeing was another short that we did set up. And we shorted this one based off of the monthly chart, just so that we are aware. So here's the monthly. And if you adjust the chart for dividends or not, but when I was looking at it, the chart was adjusted for dividends. And you'll notice, again, really, really strong move on Boeing. One of the stronger stocks. This bad boy ran up 75% in the last 4 months. That is a butt ton. And that type of movement into the 100 on a monthly chart. And if I pop into the weekly, we were able to place the stop loss above the 200 on a weekly, which hasn't really been interacted with since COVID. So that's going to prove to be a resistance. And there was some resistance here. You can see in March of 2021 on Boeing. And then, of course, right, same thing with American Airlines, possible double top. Sorry, apologies, double bottom down here. So there's a neckline. So just shorting as high as possible. And this too is a really nice hammer type of candle that's also closing below the 10. So if we can break below that low and we close below 207, I would have to assume that Boeing at least makes it to 201.58 in the next few days or weeks. And then ultimately this little gap fill at 191, maybe even lower. So we'll see. But there are a lot of good gaps out there. And one of them is Meta. So why is Meta a good gap? Well, Meta is gapping up with the rest of the markets gapping down. So that means one of two things, that the bulls are going to take over, or that it's going to get sucked into the whirlwind that is the slight bearishness out there in the markets today. So that being the case, the bears slightly winning the battle. I think it could get sucked into that whirlpool of bearishness potentially. The 179.22 is the 100 simple on a monthly time frame. And my thought is to watch that pretty closely. I do not expect us to get anywhere near there today, but we could. And if we do, that would absolutely be a very easy spot to short. Jason makes a good point. He says that folks are excited about the verified accounts. I think so. I'm excited about it, man. By the way, on that subject, I will never message you on Instagram or any other platform promising you crazy returns in crypto. And all you have to do is pay me in crypto to get those amazing returns. Okay? That's not me. That's someone in a different country who cloned my account as a lookalike, but the name will be spelled differently. There'll be a hyphen, a period, an A, an I. It's not me. I'm not messaging you. I will never message you. Stupid stuff. Okay? Fair? Hector says, who did I send that Bitcoin to then? Wasn't me. Jason says, no lie, man. I get messages on the gram weekly from some spam account. Yep. I know. It's unfortunate. It's too bad. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. Hopefully somehow get that blue check so that people can instantly see that it's not me that they're talking to, and they can just block them. Anyway, I like the point Jason, that, yeah, people are excited that that's coming out. So here's the 3-minute chart. And my plan on Meta really is, if we get up into this 178 spot, is to probably look for a short for a day trade. I don't know if we're going to get up there or not. Probably we do not, but I could see a day pretty easily where we end up retesting 175 and just kind of fading back down to 172 to fill this gap on Meta. That also being the case, you did have a really cool little breakdown and close below all of this volume. This is what I love about volume trading for me. Again, I do it very basically because I'm not that smart. Huge bull volume on this day. So when we close below it here, that point is just a great spot to short, aka create a limit sell order. And not only is it that spot based on that volume, but that also coincided with the 100 simple on a monthly chart. So you have numerous little factors that are like, hey, great spot to either go short or simply not buy there, bullish. Right? Don't be getting in at that price, at that location. So Meta, pretty cool looking gap. I'll put on my list for today. Home Depot, aka Home Depot. So Home Depot is gapping down on a weekly and daily chart, and it is clearing many days and many weeks. Now, granted, it is Home Depot. Therefore, my assumption is it's going to go higher at some point. But with a 100 and 200 simple on the non-adjusted for dividends chart, that's around 308. 309.38 is the 100 simple ish. So if I pop into let's just say a 5-minute, this is the pre-market 5-minute time frame on Home Depot. This is a very strong gap down, in my opinion. So I would probably be pretty comfortable shorting if it made its way up into that spot with a stop loss like this and a target like this. So entry 309.10, stop 313.10. So that's a $4 stop loss. And then, yeah, target 305-ish, 303-ish, 3.5. As it's set up right now, it's 1.4 risk units. But that's essentially potential setup on Home Depot that you can consider, because it is gapping down. And Home Depot might be what's kind of pushing the Dow Jones off a cliff a little bit. The Dow Boeing. So this is the Dow ETF. And it is a really nice bull candle, and we're projected to open below that, which is quite interesting. So for me, watching this extremely closely, I think I'll start to take a bet once again from some shares on a short side and get into a short collar, which represents selling puts and buying calls as protection. And just in case this lower high starts to kind of pan out here, because it took its sweet time. And I was in short shares for a while and just got out. I think that was, what day did I get out? One of these 2 or 3 days over here. And that was it. Took a very small win. I think this is a quite interesting gap down on the Dow Jones, personally. So again, not extremely personally bearish, but this chart says that I can set up some bear trades. I'm not the most bearish trader of all time generally. I really don't think the world's going to burn. But there are certain situations and times where you can set up some trades that are bearish, and you can also have some that are bullish. Speaking of bullish, we did hit a target on Polkadot. We had a swing trade on this one. Dan says, will we set up trades together when the market opens? That's up to you, man. I already set up some trades. Just did one on Home Depot. So you're welcome to do that one with me if you want. You can do it when the market's open, or an hour if the market opens, 3 hours after the market open. Up to you, my man. You can set this trade up right now on Polkadot as well. This was a swing trade that we got into off of the 200 This is one that kind of broke above here, and we got in when it retested, but that was actually over here. Is when that happened. And that trade worked out. We were able to sell it there, luckily. And so what I'm doing is I'm taking the profits from that trade and reinvesting those profits into this trade, buying at 740, stop at 620. So we're already below 740, so you can get a little bit of a discount from where I got it. And then targets 890 and 1027 on Polkadot. Now, if you wanted a little bit lower, you probably could. This might be a little bit of a chase. Really, you could probably buy like 680 somewhere in here and have a little bit of lower stop if you want. You could also consider that. But since I'm getting them with just profits, there's no way to lose on the trade, right? Take a really high probability trade, win on that, take the profits from that, reinvest it into this, and sit back and enjoy. Jason, yep, that's exactly right, my brother. On Home Depot, that's 309.10 by 313.10. Yes, sir. Meta, I'm gonna keep a close eye on it. If I'm going to be shorting up here, 177 or 179, I don't think it's going to get up there. So I'm going to give it a little bit of time, just kind of wait it out. DraftKings had a good gap the other day, but I can take it off the list from today specifically. And NVIDIA is also gapping down. Most stocks are today. And what's quite interesting and kind of fun on NVIDIA is this gap down. Looks like it's going to break below the prior low of day pretty soon. So I'm going to draw that with a green line. Prior low of day on this one is 209.75. So we're going to have 209.75 as the prior low of day. So we're going to break that pretty quick. Here's your 3-minute chart. And you can see that's going to coincide pretty closely with some pre-market lows as well. So here's kind of like your pre-market low, which I'll do with a little bit of a reddish line. And my expectation would be probably on NVIDIA, it break lower, retest into 2010, and then we can find out what happens, but may roll down. But it's going to need to break the low of the day for me to take a trade, but that's probably going to happen very, very quickly at market open, I would assume. So I'll keep that on the watch list. Again, if you guys have any other trades you want to let me review, just throw it in the chat pane. And then Tesla's going to be very easy for me to trade today. I've already analyzed it, and here's the analysis. It's an inside day so far. I will not take it unless it breaks above the prior high or the prior low of the day. Tesla is trading in between the 200 and the 100 on the daily. So the 200 is the red line, which is the resistance, and the 100 is the blue line, which is a support. I want to buy it at 180. That's kind of my goal, and I think that'll happen in about 2 weeks. So keep your eyes peeled on Tesla for a longer term, larger purchase around 180 on some type of dip. But for today, I won't take a trade at all on Tesla, even though right now it is a little more on the bear side than the bull side because you're gapping down slightly. It's an inside day, and I won't take it until it breaks out the prior high or prior low, which are marked by these green lines. Now, these reddish lines are just some of the pre-market levels. So this is some pre-market lows from the other day. Here's a pre-market high. And obviously you have this little thing right there. So that's like an internal support line. But yeah, so Tesla will be really easy. I generally do take a trade on Tesla every day unless it does do what it's doing today, which is essentially nothing. But Friday was spectacular. Look at this bearish 10 EMA trade on Friday. If you guys are practicing, I'll walk you through the trade that I took. I took 2 trades on Tesla on Friday. 1 on 1, lost on 1. What? Crazy. So here was my loss. Type in a 9 if you see a bear candle closing above the 10 EMA. Pointing to with the purple arrows here. All right. So my entry was there. Stop loss was $3 away. So approximately here. And it never really went up. Got a bull candle to close below the 10. So that was warning sign number 1. After that candle comes in, I move my stop to about 0.7, which is crazy. And then you get another bull candle right there, inside bull candle with a double top, closing below the neckline, retesting the neckline, inside bull candle, closing below the 10 EMA, right above my stop loss for a bullish trade. So it was a very, very easy to increase it to right about here. And short it once it broke below there, exiting my long and going in short. Missed my target on that trade by a few pennies here. Had to hold through the most grueling retracement of my life there. And once I got that bear candle, I lowered my stop loss and did a Newsom nudge and exited right here for the trade. Dan says, is Tesla support at 204.60? Let's go back to the chart that we were looking at just a moment ago. 15-minute chart is what I'm looking at presently. The support that I am going to be eyeing is about 198. The resistance is here at 209. And there is some pre-market support here at 204. And again, Dan, just to reiterate one more time, I will not take a trade at all on Tesla today, not even once, until it breaks or unless it breaks above this high or this low from yesterday. Very easy. Doesn't take out the high or low of the day. I do not trade it. Inside days, I lose 90% of the time. So I just try not to take those trades. Easy enough on Tesla. Any other gaps? AMD is requested. All right, cool. Let's go look at AMD and check it out really quick. We're going to start with the daily chart. In the daily chart, this is a little bit of this purple pyramid looking thing, a little triangle, is how I'm going to be buying AMD on some pullbacks. First pullback really is starting now. And we are gapping below the low of the day, which is nice. Here's the 200 simple on a weekly chart, and the 200 simple on a weekly is at 75.70. So that's going to be some level of a support on AMD. So if we go back to the daily chart, we are not going to have tons and tons of room before we start interacting with that level. So if I just hide all my lines for just a second, my assumption is with this really, really nice gap on AMD below the low, and this being a retest gap, we do fill this gap today. So this gap gets fully filled, which means that AMD almost without question will trade down to 75.18. It's a nice gap on a new week below the low. So it's probably going to sell off relatively quick. I'll pop into a 5-minute chart pre-market just so we can kind of look at it. And you can see a really, really clean pre-market support here at 77. So my thought process would be if and when it breaks below that, since it is a retest gap, you'd probably try to short a pullback into 77.30-ish. Place to stop up here at 78.30, which is a $1 stop loss, and then look to exit around 75, which is a $2 gain. That's my thoughts on AMD. Walmart, Walmart is, gapping down. Decent gap. Another one that's probably dragging the Dow a little bit. Strong bear gap and go. Yes, Manjel. Yes, sir. So Walmart's gapping down. The 100 simple moving average is going to be a little bit of a support. So you want to make sure that you get that drawn. And then the 200 simple, you want to get that drawn. That'll be a support level. And that's really it. I would assume it's going to be relatively bearish into those two price points, but I wouldn't directly short it because, it's Walmart. Good old Walmart. Hard to short. Better to just stay long. Longer term, anyway. Okay. So a few other trades are coming in. Marcus wants me to look at Roku, ROKU. So Roku, this was a nice move recently. Very, very beautiful gap on Thursday, the 16th. You have an inside candle today, which was, sorry, yesterday, which was Friday, because the weekend doesn't exist when you're a stock trader. You have the 200 simple at 67.84. And you also have a few retest gaps on Roku, ladies and gentlemen, this one and this one. So my expectation, most likely, if I was trading Roku today, which I'm not personally, but I would wait for a close below 67.80, and that's the level that I would look at on a smaller time frame as a short, because I do feel like this gap will fill on Roku in the next few days. Here's the weekly chart, and the weekly chart, really, really good resistance, good breakout, good volume. And I would like to see Roku pull back to high 61. So 61, 62, 63. I said high 61. Yeah, 61-ish. Buy into that spot, and then 65. I mean, 75. That's $14 a share. It's crazy. So Roku is cheap and it is volatile. So this is going to be a fun one to not only watch, but I think to kind of like actively trade over the next few weeks. And you're going to want to put on your watch lists. So I'm looking at it tomorrow in the afternoon room during the All Access Pass from 5 to 6 Eastern. It'll be the fourth stock I'm going to review. Apple also gapping down, also a gap and go, also clearing multiple candles. So one thing you do not ever want to do is short Apple at a pre-market low. That's just always a recipe for disaster. And you're at the pre-market low. So let it break the low and then short on a retest. Apple is notorious. I mean, at least in my small time trading Apple, low of the day, pre-market breaks almost never work because it's Apple. So definitely a nice gap for sure. And I would look to be a little bit more on the bearish side, but only after a retest. Target could be 147.39, although I don't think we hit that today, but we certainly could. BABA has a really nice edge, not only today, but recently. It's just been going up nicely, and now it's going down nicely. And we're opening below the low of yesterday. We're opening below the low of this candle. Earnings are allegedly coming up. We'll see. I like BABA kind of more on the longer term scale. On a day trade perspective, I don't see anything that I'm just enamored by. If I was going to day trade it, it would probably have been up in this general area. But it is a good gap for sure. It's a retest gap. Certainly can watch it. It's going to have good edge either direction, bullish or bearish. But for me personally, I'm going to be adding small share size into this area here, which is essentially 90. I'll pull down to there. I'll buy a few shekels worth on Alibaba, and that'll really be it. I mean, longer term, I don't think that this one's going to go to zero. I could be wrong. I know a lot of people are kind of hating on the whole China thing aspect right now, but I would like to believe that this one's going to stick around, because I think if BABA goes to zero, we're going to have larger issues on our hands, most likely. But yeah, 85. I'll be buying some more shares, Alex, and kind of just continue to sprinkle in some general overall liquidity into BABA on a longer term scale. Yeah, man. Chris McCoy says, great morning, my man. Great morning, rock star. Thanks for being here, Barosepi. I love it. Anything else? We got 2.5 minutes until market open. AI. So AI is gapping up small. I bought some of this at 21.38 on a retest into these moving averages and sold it at 26 because I figured a 20% return in 3 days is too good not to lock in. And now you're gapping up small. So I think the overall trend on this one is still bullish, and you probably do want to keep an eye on it to buy dips and or stay in if you are in long. Costco is kind of like Walmart, I think. Both of those are gapping down small. And I think Costco, again, it is a tiny gap. It is a good gap. People are trapped here for sure. I think it's going to trade down into the 200 at some point. So, yep, be there tonight. So that's going to be Costco, Shopify. Great gap on Shopify. I mean, this was an amazing, amazing, amazing bear gap and go here. A lot of people trapped after it ran up into a resistance. I feel good about Shopify. We bought it and played it down here. Buy low and sell high. Bought at 36, sold at 48-ish. Beautiful 20% return in 2.5 weeks. I mean, you can't beat that. Fantastic trade on Shopify. And now I'm going to, this is a bear gap for sure. And this gap's going to fill this week without question. But my plan is to buy this one on a pullback again. And the only reason I did it is because it worked once. So I'm just going to do it twice. I heard that that's a good idea in the stock world. If something works one time, you should probably do it 2 times. So nice little gap on Shopify indeed. Cool. Square, a stock that I love trading and love being at long-term, also is gapping down. So there's a lot of stocks that are opening below some lows, meaning it's going to be a very fun week for day traders. As always, don't get overwhelmed. Find the 1 or 2 stocks that you want to trade, which generally for me is Tesla, and just sit back, relax, and let it do its thing. Follow your plan, know what you want to trade, and remember that there are more opportunities every second than you could take advantage of in a lifetime. You don't have the time or the money to interact with infinity, and that because that's how many options are available, how many choices are available. So there we go. The market's open. I'm gonna be buying some more Square at 70 on a longer term position. Again, just kind of adding to some shares down there. Nothing too intense. Earnings, I believe, is this week, and it does look like it could slowly peel down into there. So this will be fun to see how it works out. So NVIDIA did take out that low, meaning it just means that we can trade it now. That's all. So we have the capability to trade bullish or bearish on NVIDIA. I think if it takes out that support at some point in the day, that'll be a lot of fun. Again, Meta, I wanted to short it higher. It does look like it's going to fade and fill the strength that it had. Overall market's weak and Meta is bullish. For those who are tuning in on YouTube, thanks so much for being here. YouTube, I appreciate you. You guys are the best. Thank you. And make sure at some point to hop into the All Access Pass, where we do this every single day for hours, analyze the markets, talk, hang out, enjoy time with friends